Hi there, folks. Welcome back to another Monday Beginnings. I don't really know if I have a true name for whatever I want to call this yet, but I know what I want to do and I know how I want it to go, and we'll start there. So in the last Monday Beginnings video, I discussed a little bit about acreage and how small you really can start out, and then your herd size. So let's go into a little more details on the acreage, right? So I said in the previous video, about 2 acres in my area, I think I could graze 2 to 4 cows on. And I also said in the last video that 2 mama cows can equal 6 total cows real fast with yearling steers, or yearling heifers if you're gonna raise them up and eat them. So let's start with that then. If we're going with 2 acres, that means we're gonna have to buy in hay. In my area, my carrying capacity for animals is about 1 per acre. And I will say that is not a true carrying capacity of numbers per head, but that is animal units. And the reason, the reason I specify that is that an animal unit is about 1,000 pounds, but you get some of these Anguses that are 2,000 pounds. Well, that's an animal. No, that's 2 animals. Then you got some of my Dexters that are only weighing 800 pounds. Well, that's an animal. No, that's 5/8 or 7/8 of an animal. You know, now if you really want to get technical. But, so let's get back to the main thing and stop with the technicality, shall we? So if you buy all your hay and you feed hay a good majority of the year, you could start with 2 acres. And the reason I'm picking that is I'm coming over here to a little pasture I got that is about 1.5 acres, 2 acres. It really just depends on how poor my math was when I mapped all this stuff out. And this is probably what you're gonna get. Honestly, you can find a 4-acre piece of ground out in the country, I think, relatively easily. That's why I think we can start here. So let me just kind of show you a little bit. So this is the piece here. You know, we've grazed it before. It's roughly 400 by 200, I think, about that size. And that's just an arbitrary rough 2 acres. But I really truly think you could graze in the summertime and springtime about 2 to 4 animals out here and be okay. Because I can graze 10 out here, and this gets me anywhere from 8 days to 24 days, depending on time of year. So if you cut that down to like a quarter, you could probably easily get 30 to 90 days on that with good ground and stuff like that. So that's a big thing to consider when you're looking for your first piece of ground for your first farm. And the reason I say that is you might find the perfect piece of ground, but it only has 2 acres. Or you might only be able to afford 2 acres, because I'll be honest with you, even in my area that is pretty decent farm country, definitely not the best, you know, but pretty decent, $10,000 an acre is what farmland's selling for. So technically, if I wanted to do that, I could very easily get $200,000. Oh, I hear a snapping. That's fun. I can get $200,000 no problem out of this farm if I wanted to sell it, which I don't, so I won't. But if I wanted to, I could. And so that's what I mean is if it's that much, that's quite a bit of change for some person to just start out with. You know, I don't have that laying around. I don't have that sitting in my pocket. So that could be a challenge that you guys might be facing, is that you just can't find farmland for a halfway decent price. You know, I got folks that I just talk farming with, and they've got 600 acres, 200 acres. You know, other guys might only have 150 acres. I don't have that, but I'm still able to farm with my little bit that I do have. And so that's what I wanted to discuss, is just how small you can get a piece of farm ground to work for you. You know, this is all about beginnings, right? Generally you're not gonna go out buy 1,000-acre head of cattle, 1,000-acre farm with 1,000 head of cattle or some crazy thing like that. And that's how the first farming experience of yours will ever go. Generally not the case. Could be. I'd love to meet you, love to maybe get a little bit of that money. I mean, so that's my point, is we all got to start somewhere, and this is where I'm starting. I'd love to buy more ground, but at $10,000 an acre, That's ridiculous. I don't know that I'll ever be able to afford that. And with all the farming movements that are going on, where a lot of folks are leaving cities to go farm, it's going to get even more challenging. So that's where I think you guys can start. You truly don't need a bunch of ground. You truly don't need a ton of acres to start farming. You just need a couple. You know, if you got yourself a little 10-acre, 20-acre farm like I got, you could be self-sufficient on it. Maybe not owning your own hay equipment. That might be a little bit too expensive, but you could definitely have someone farm part of your ground like I do for some hay, if that's some route you want to go. Maybe buy in a little supplemental if the year is not really that great. But that's where we shall start. You know, you can start farming with a small acreage, and it's truly possible, especially if you choose, if you choose your animals correctly. Get good breeding genetics on grass. That way you're not having to worry about a bunch of massive animals on the ground, especially in wet weather like this, where it's super muddy. It's very possible. So thank you guys so much for watching. Catch me on the next Monday for new beginnings. Maybe that's what I'll call it. I don't know. You guys let me know in the comments. Thank you. See ya.